purges it in a way. It removes the power. The power's locked up inside you when it's in there like a lead weight dragging you down. When you let it out, it doesn't have that weight on you so much. It's hard to explain, and this is the point of expression today, is that it's really hard to explain. That's why expression is so difficult, and why we find so many interesting and varied ways to achieve it, and why when you start, which we will look at in a minute, when you start doing it, you know, it's like going to a well, and at first you think, well, water's all the way down there, and like what is even, you know, but once you start winching up the buckets and you start getting wet, it's a totally different experience. Like you become maybe free flowing, maybe the well becomes a spring. Yeah, it's really interesting expression. Hi, you're with Scott and Madonna, obviously. It's Mental Health Monday. It's midnight, it's Monday, it's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear. It's 8 p.m. GMT. It's 8 p.m. GMT, hopefully not peeking into the red. I did notice there was a little bit of a metallic audio buzz sound coming sometimes, and I know what it is. It's the wire that I've got trailing plugged in, and when I wiggle it around and move it, the sound happens a bit more or less. So I apologise for that. But we're just in the process of making this all better. It's coming along. And the lowdown from the high ground, from the moral high ground. The lowdown from the moral high ground, from up on the moral horse. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about expression. Tonight we are covering my chat about a weird weekend call. Oh, someone called me up at the weekend and it was a bit weird. I'm going to talk about it, tell you. Why should you express yourself? Why? Why should you express yourself? Madonna famously encouraged us to, but why? Why should we? What happens when you don't? We're going to look at that. We're going to look at different methods and ideas of expressing ourselves. Because it's not always easy. It's not always easy. Sometimes we don't even know what it is we want to say. You know, sometimes we don't even know. We don't. It's not always easy. And we're going to finish on a brief look at identity. What? That's different. Identity. I should have put these words up on the screen, shouldn't I? I could edit that later. Oh God, don't talk to me about editing this week. I've had enough of it. I don't want to sit in front of the old telly screen editing. I'm happier talking to you. The more I talk to you, the more I have to. We're going to edit less, talk more. We're going to look at identity, though. We're going to look at identity and why. Why would we look at identity when we're talking about expression? Well, it all kind of ties in, doesn't it? It kind of ties in. The things we choose to express, you know, the parts of our identity that we want to bring out and expose to the world. I don't know. It all kind of plays in, doesn't it? So I thought we'd have a little look at that at the end, depending on time allowing. But first, the Lewis Hamilton story. Because you love it when I talk about Lewis Hamilton all the time. But the Lewis Hamilton story must come to a close for us here on Mental Health Monday. And it must come to a close with this remarkable thing that I found out. Chuffing me. Look, here we go. We could call this. We're going to do 10 minutes of Lewis Hamilton, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the expression. But last week, we talked about Lewis Hamilton and his mental health. We suggested he might be having mental health struggles. And look, he is. We're going to call this bit Lewis Hamilton confirmed mental health panic attack, confirmed. Because we suggested we thought he was having a panic attack. Confirmed. He is having a hard time. Well, this wasn't confirmed. What's Scotty Hottie doing here? Look, he thought it was 10th of the 7th, like 10th of August. But that's not even, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's news. How have we got tomorrow's news? No, it's the other way around, isn't it? It's the 7th. I don't know. I got confused anyway. This is old news. It's a month old. But there's a nice picture of him there getting out of his car. But the point being, he put a thing on Instagram, right? He put a thing on Instagram, and it said, "I too am having a hard time." They've made it seem like he's penned this heartfelt message on mental health, which he kind of has, but it came as this. There's the post. Look, this Instagram thing. If there's anybody out there struggling right now, I just want you to know you're not alone. This is nice for Mental Health Monday, isn't it? I should say it's in a nice voice. If there's anybody out there struggling right now, I just want you to know you're not alone. Good one, Lewis. You know, and before I get on and say the rest of what Lewis said, I'm such a chuffer, aren't I? I didn't look into it deeply. I didn't do the research, Lewis Hamilton mental health, and find out all the articles and things. He has talked about it, So I've been on there saying, oh, Lewis Hamilton should talk about his mental health and it's building up. Well, he has talked, but he's not. We'll see in a minute about how hasn't approached it. But I've got to say, I'm in the wrong here a little bit. He's done a lot of good stuff for mental health. So let's look into this a little bit. You're not alone. I too am having a hard time, but I know we're going to get through this. You have so much potential in you may not even be aware of. You've so much to give to the world. You're special and unique. There's nobody like you, no matter what anybody says. Be bold, be strong, be you. You're beautiful in every way. Let's be great together. Hope our paths cross someday in this life or the next. I'm sending you love and light and positivity for your weekend. So by the end, it seems a bit like generic. I thought he was going to talk about his actual things that he was struggling with and what it was. But he just says, yeah, I'm having a hard time too. And I'm like you, you're like me, we're together, we're in it together. I get it. It might be marketing, or it might be, a really heartfelt statement of mental health struggle. I lean more on the mental health side of things, heartfelt side with Lewis, because, and we're going to go on to see here, look, he's done these things. Lewis and the Renaissance. Where's Lewis and the Renaissance? I've got that in a different window, haven't I? There we are. This is Lewis's. It's a charity that he set up, the Lewis Hamilton Foundation, and it could just be like a tax thing, couldn't it? See, if I can't see Hobbs, I can't see if I'm leaning over out the shot like that. It might be a tax, might be for tax purposes, but no, he's done this this charity, and they're talking about legacy mental health. They're talking to people in communities about mental health. It's a really good thing. There's these videos on YouTube about Lewis talking about it. There's like a 10-20 minute one here from Mercedes catching up with him about positive thinking, keeping mentally healthy, self-belief, positive mindsets. So in one aspect, I think he's done a lot of good work, which I'm absolutely happy with. Great. I don't think it's deeply core personal to him. I haven't looked into it again. I should have watched all of these, shouldn't I, before I could make a statement. But what I'm saying is that I think right now he's struggling with the panic, and it's kind of ironic in a way, isn't it? Because he has done this talking about it, this raising the awareness, this at the end of this article on this confusing website. It says, Formula One has often been viewed as a sport of ultra-masculinity, and the topic of mental health has most of the time been snubbed. But in recent times, an open discourse over it is started by the current grid drivers. Lando Norris, the McLaren superstar, after his second season, wrote a blog about his mental health state during his rookie year and how difficult it was for him to overcome. I did look into that. I tried to look at the blog, then it took me to another article. But yeah, so overall, we're going to close the book on our Lewis Hamilton videos by saying, yes, absolutely, look, he is doing good work for mental health. I hope he realises that the things he's going through right now, the stresses and pressures that we raised in the previous videos, look, that's down there. There you are. Ooh, it's got a nice thumbnail, hasn't it? Colourful. I hope he realises that is exactly in that ballpark of the things he's been talking about and raising awareness of and can benefit from. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton confirmed. That's what we're going to call that. Confirmed. Lewis Hamilton panic attack confirmed. I mean, it might be. Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? And we're not going to beat him up over it. He's done such good work. I'm praising him. That's what we're here to do. Praise him today. Well done, Lewis. I'm happy with that. I just think he now needs to talk about what's happening to him now. Oh, these chest tightenings and lightheadedness and dizzy spells and, after the race spells. I think these things need to be looked at in the context of mental health. But yeah, good job, Lewis. So my friend called me. So it was like 11 o'clock. It was Saturday. I wasn't out. I was in. Tell you what I was actually doing. Saturday at 11 o'clock. Might have been grinding some Fortnite even. I was about to cook some food. That's what I was going to do. I had the pan out. And I had they're like plant-based bacon strips, but they're not bacon. I don't know why they try and make everything like bacon. Don't know why they try and do it. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. But I'm quite happy that things just taste nice and they are what they are. But they always had these plant-based bacon strip things. Not promoting plant-based bacon strips, that's not what we're talking about. I was trying to get them fried up in the old frying pan at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, as you do. And the phone call buzzed up. It was one of my friends. I thought, this is a bit strange, isn't it? to be calling me at this time of night, so I better answer, because people don't often call me. And when they do, at the best of times, you know, I don't. But I better answer. So I answered and said, hello. And he started talking. I know this is weird. I know this is strange. He said, it's a bit out of the blue. He explained that he'd been out with his brothers and been doing some drinking. So immediately I cottoned on to what was going on here. There was a bit of a drunken rambling going to take place, and I was going to be on the end. And in the end, my bacon went cold. The rambling happened. I never got my sandwich done. About 40 minutes of conversational rambling. It was interesting. It was nice. So I'm not going to say it was bad, but my bacon did get put on hold. It was one of them. My bacon got put on hold. But one of the things that was said to me that I liked, could say nice things to me, I like him, by my friend, was that, because he's known me a long time over the years, he said that one of the things he liked about me was that I was authentic to, how do I explain this? So I explained it the way he explained it. So when we were young, we got into like Rage Against the Machine. You liked Rage Against the Machine because you felt something in the music that you identified with, and we went to see Rage Against the Machine together, and like he felt these same feelings, and I think he does. I mean, I think this is what he was trying to explain, and it was about a connection. Like for me, going to see Rage Against the Machine was like a religious experience. It was a connection with the music that was created and my soul and the thing, and like I wasn't there to buy a t-shirt. Like I wasn't there to take my selfie. I was there to completely lose myself in the moment, in the experience, and also find part of myself in it as well, because that's where I live, that's where I'm alive. That was Rage Against the Machine. And then he was describing drum and bass and like other forms of music, and the same sort of context, that I love drum and bass because I love drum and bass. I love the way the bass sounds, the high music. I do these physical I feel like the bass is big and blue, and when you're stood in the arena and that's blasting out, it's flowing out from these deeper end of the speaker, like this big blue wave, and the rattle tattle on top of it, and you're like you're swimming through this, being buoyed on the wave. I mean, it is physical energy, isn't it? I suppose the waves of the music. Yeah, I wonder if there's something in that. But I'm being buoyed along. There's something about drum and bass that I feel like a primal connection with. And he was saying that he asked back in the day when we were younger, like he said, you know, what is it about drum and bass? Can you explain to me why it's good and how I should enjoy it? And I said to him that no, I can't. You just got to come to a rave and just experience it, and if you feel it and understand it, then you feel it and understand it, and if you don't, then, you know, maybe go to a different music venue and enjoy something else. And he did, and you know, it was through those experiences that we bonded as well. So his point was that I didn't want to become a DJ because I wanted to be on the stage in front of the people and signing the autographs. I was a DJ because the love of the music meant that I had to play those records in my house. I had to learn to mix them. I wanted to hear, I look at records and see them not as individual pieces, but as parts of the mix that I could create. It's like seeing things in your fridge, not as individual packages of food, but as a sandwich, you know. it's that, so that sort of thing. And you was reminding me of who I was, essentially. That was what I wanted to make the point of this drunken rambling phone call. It actually reminded me of who I was, and I reminded him that some of that authenticity some of that brutally being myself, regardless of what other people thought, not caring what other people thought, just brutally being myself, even if it was sometimes brutal. I reminded him that it kind of came from a place of dysfunction and pain and chaos, and that maybe some people who had a more smooth, more nuclear family 9 to 5 upbringing, no arguments, no dysfunction, no rage, you know, maybe they didn't connect with these things in the same way as I did, because it was just, you know, that was my form of connection with expression, wasn't it? That was what was happening, I suppose. And it wasn't always good for me, and it didn't lead to a like completely positive outcome, but you know, he on one aspect he was saying, oh well, I'm just boring now, I've just got like the house and the kids, and I just go to the job, and you know, I just do the day-to-day grind because I know I have to do it, and it's normal, and it's he was saying it's good, you know, he loved his kids and his like his house and his nice things, but he missed that like the way we used to behave if we wanted, like he missed that ability to just jump in the car and go to the rave, or say, all right, this weekend we're going to just go and do this, or you know, I've got 2 tickets for that, or I really like this new band, let's go and watch them, or do you know what I mean, like this passion for things, this passion for life that you know, maybe these ideas come to him when he's having his 1 or 2 nights out of the year that he's but that's what he was sort of saying, and that I represented to him that, like that manifest, that going after the things that I wanted to, and I had to agree with him as well. Like, you know, in later years now, we did the ASMR, not because I thought ASMR was going to be popular on YouTube. You know, it was an anathema to me that ASMR became popular on YouTube. I was a bit surprised by that, but I did it because I loved it and I wanted to be part of it and do it, and had ideas about how it could be done. So I just had to do it. You know, when it was weird and different, I don't care. I just get interested in it. I want to do it. And I find ways of expressing myself through things that maybe are a bit different, and I'm not afraid to go and have a go at them and try them and see if they fit for me. So maybe there's something in that. So you Scotty Hottie, you put down the phone, it's midnight now, you haven't had your bacon sandwich. It's not bacon, it's plant-based. I mean, it looks like strips of plant-based, it doesn't look like bacon. You've gone off it, it's gone cold, you've given a piece to the dog, he's not really interested either, so that's gone. But you've had this conversation about who you really are in your soul, and this expression. And I've never been successful with music. I've just made it because I wanted to. The music is on my I'm not here to promote it, we'll promote it another time. I'll just mention it, that it's on Battery Exhausted, Big Valley is there, some of the Strafe rapping is there. I've done a lot more before that. I did a band when I was younger that we did a CD and we won Battle of the Bands, and you know, songs I wrote were on that. It's happened all the way along my life that I've tried to construct and create, whether it be media. Obviously you've seen a lot of the media, and some of the true binaural stuff I've tried to push into the art sphere, and some of it maybe is not that, I don't know, I'm not going on about it all. But what happened to me was that I had some songs that I've thought on the top of my, there's one that I've sort of basically completed, I finished it, and I never did the video for it. I had this idea for the video for it, and then I was like, it's too complicated to make this music video, I'm just going to put that on the back burner because I know what the music video needs to look like. I just can't execute it now because it costs too much money and it's too complicated. So that's on the back burner, it's there, and I just thought, why don't I grab that song and then get it on the internet, maybe just do a lyric video because it's there, the song's finished. When I tried to find it, I couldn't find the chuffer. It was on my old iTunes, the finished version, like the finished final mix down, and then I don't have my old iTunes, and when I logged into the old iTunes, everything's gone, and like my old phone I don't have that anymore. It's my sister's phone I've got now, like the hand-me-down, so I don't have that. So I was like, where is this? Thought I had it somewhere. Got the old backup hard drive, and I have got the full Logic file. Got the full Logic file, but there's a plugin that I was using called Elephant that makes everything sound big like an elephant. Really good it is, but I wasn't paying the money for it. I was pirate. I was a naughty pirate. This is a while ago, so you know, you can't come and get me, but it was a while ago. I was a naughty pirate and I had it for free, I think. Well, anyway, the point being, it doesn't work. So now I can't mix it down because it doesn't sound proper. And then I tried last night, I had a full go at it, and then I was like, listen, I'm mixing it through these headphones, maybe I should. Then I was out the telly, and then I was like, oh, I need to get the big speakers. I'm not getting the big speakers. So I got waylaid with that. Didn't work out. But then I've dug through, because I've got the hard drive, I've got the old hard drive out with the old songs, the backup files. I went through it, and there's some things in there that I still feel deserve being finished. That's a better way to explain it. And I've got this machine that we bought through your Patreon dollar that I can plug the microphones into. So it got me working on a bit of music. I did a little bit of, you know, opening up files, doing a bit of mixing, recording some stuff. Got this microphone, it's right here. Did a bit. Got a couple of things actually polished off. Got 2, maybe 3 things that we're going to release this week if I can get my head around how to do the video. or at least I can expose you to them through the stream. So that was interesting, good. Stayed up really late working on music, expression, and it was good. And that's what we're coming round to. Then I thought, for this one song, because it's a soft song, I thought I was going to use images of Navin, my old dog, and I've got these videos that we took of when he was getting older, and especially his last day, because we had that horror story of how he bit me and I had to get him put down. It sounds silly when I say it like that, but it was, anyway, been through a long, hard road with this rescue dog who had bitten me on several occasions, but at the end it became clear that he'd had a long, hard life, and it was time. It was time. When I watched this video back as well, I've got my arm all bandaged up because I've just recently had the trauma, and I'm giving him a cuddle and not wanting to get my face in his face. I'm a little bit timid myself as well, but I could see in his eyes, I could see in the image of the dog. It's not the dog that I remember, the lively, the boy. It's this old, his face was so sad, and when I looked at it, I realised that, he realised that was his last day, and it was. And I remember thinking at the time when he bit me that he was trying to communicate to me, to express himself, that something was severely, not. I imagine if we'd done exploratory surgery, he would have had some sort of, he was a really old dog. He was blind in one eye, and I imagine something would have been not right inside, and this was his way of saying something's hurting, and maybe it's time. So I watched that, and I was going to try and edit it into a music video. And I realised that part of what I was writing about and recording about and all that was the pain of that, but really the songs aren't about that dog. They're not. They were about something else, and I was just trying to find something to put images to it that I felt sympathetically fit with it. But anyway, the point being, it made me really upset and, felt down, didn't I? Because I was looking at images of the thing that made me upset, and it was in vivid colour, in vivid colour. I don't know. How do you explain that any better than that? You don't need to do. That's enough. I'm going to release those tracks on a different name on it. I think what I really want is for them to just be exposed to the world. I haven't got any marketing, I haven't got any promotion, I haven't got any of that. I'm not gonna, so it's not gonna go anywhere. It needs, in today's modern world, you need at least some hype train on the internet. You need at least some exposure, sharing, people getting into it. You need to do some public performances. You need some people paying you money to go on a tour to, get them that end, and that's not where it's going. I just wanted it to be exposed to, so it's out there. And to be judged on what it is, not on who I am or anything else like that. So I don't know if I need to do music videos for it, but maybe there's this other part of me that wants to. It's a complete piece of art, isn't it? It's a music and a video, and I'm a person who works in media, so how am I not making it a complete piece of art? Part of me does that, but then it holds back the music anyway. Expression. Why is it important that I get to finish these things, and why is it important that I play the music? 9 really bad things that happen to your health when you avoid feeling your emotions. Right. I just went on a bit of a ramble there, but it was a ramble about expressing myself and music and how I'm feeling and why this Mental Health Monday is like it is. And maybe we should have done all about Kurt Cobain and Ian from Joy Division. Ian Curtis. Maybe I should have brought them up instead of just talking about what happened to me at the weekend. But you get the gist. I'll wake up a bit now and we'll do what happens to your health when you avoid feeling your emotions, and then we will talk about good ways to express yourself. We might even find some interesting ones, and I'm going to be looking at you. I'm going to be looking at you to suggest some. So wakey. Before we do it, I'll go back to my little talk about me for a minute, because there's something I wanted to say. We're going to talk about identity at the end. We're going to talk a little bit about it at the end. And what I was just describing, this thing that was related to me by my friend, I felt like I got off the path a little bit. And if you come to me now, right, and first new meeting of Scotty Hottie, it used to be that the first new meeting of Scotty Hottie for you would have been ASMR, isn't it? Like when you first met me, for the majority of you. For a lot of people who know me from way back, that wasn't, ASMR doesn't even come into it. It was Scotty Hottie. But now the first thing you meet of me is Mental Health Monday, isn't it? And it's kind of building. I'm kind of doing it the most consistent thing. But this isn't my expression of my feelings and my art and, the things I wish were successful, wish for validation on. I don't know. This isn't my my campaign even. This is just a little corner of the internet that I want to share with you once a week to make sure that we're, holding our hands across the world to improve mental health. And, if for some reason it seems to be the most consistent thing in my life at the moment. So yeah, I need inside me. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. I need inside me to get back to some form of expression. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about ways. And I've got my songs here. I'm rigging up I did a whisper piece. I don't think it's good enough to go on ASMR channel, but I did my first ASMR thing on that creative weekend as well. And I've also done a little whispery rap thing that hasn't got a rap on it yet, but I did start whispering again. It did start just coming out of me because I'm sat in here. It was night time. It was like 2 a.m. I got the microphone. I got the little desk thing. I got the microphones, and it just started happening. So that was interesting. Maybe I won't promise anything these days, but stay tuned for more. Right, why you need to express yourself. I've got that. That was Lewis. That can go. Bye bye, Lewis. Bye bye, Lewis. How to express yourself. We're going to do that in a minute. Culture and identity. Wait. That's Madonna. This is, here we are. Really bad things that happen to your health. Oh, I haven't done the Samaritans. If you're coming to Mental Health Monday, what's this dude doing chuffing on all the time? Why isn't he talking about crisis things? I'm at a crisis point. There's Samaritans. You can talk to us in chat, but this is Samaritans, and there's an American one called Lifeline as well. Don't underestimate these resources. They're free, and they could really help you. That's an American telephone number. You can tell. It's got hyphens. Right. And so now I'm going to scare you with the really bad things that can happen to your health, but don't let this fuel your anxiety. This is just like us chilling. We're going to not do this because we're going to express ourselves, but we're just going to talk about and show why it's important. And I wanted to bring this up because they've correlated. There was a couple of scientific studies done. I think there was one done at Harvard about 5 years ago. I looked into them. Now they're valid, and it's real. So number one, mental exhaustion. Ignore the adverts. There's going to be loads of them. I can't get rid of them on this website. One, mental exhaustion. Oh, that's a video. That is a video. It's not an advert. It's this guy talking about what we're talking about. Imagine him, but it's me. It is me. Right. Suppressing an emotion can involve suppressing the memory of something that's made you feel uncomfortable. However, you cannot actually forget a memory on purpose. So in order to avoid thinking about something you don't want to remember, your mind will work overtime. So you get mentally exhausted if you try and keep these things in that you want to not think about. We talk about distraction, so that's cool, but maybe expressing the things, getting them out in these other ways that we're going to look at how to do in just a minute, maybe expressing them, it kind of wipes that clean. It purges it in a way. It removes the power. The power's locked up inside you when it's in there like a lead weight dragging you down. When you let it out, it doesn't have that weight on you so much. Anyway, it's hard to explain. And this is the point of expression today, is that it's really hard to explain. That's why expression is so difficult, and why we find so many interesting and varied ways to achieve it, and why when you start, which we will look at in a minute, when you start doing it, it's like going to a well, and at first you think, well, water's all the way down there, and what is even, but once you start winching up the buckets and you start getting wet, it's a totally different experience. Like you become maybe free flowing. Maybe the well becomes a spring. Yeah, it's really interesting expression. So you get mentally exhausted if you keep it in. Stomach problems. According to research from Harvard, see, told you, stress from unacknowledged emotions, and this is an important terminology, unacknowledged emotions, so things that you feel but you don't sort of say to yourself, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm feeling that. Maybe you say to yourself, no, I'm not feeling that. No, I'm not down. I'm not sad. I'm not scared. But it can lead to digestion, gas, stomach ulcers, stomach problems, like physical problems. Headaches and migraines, again, physical. In response to emotional stress, the muscles in your forehead and brow tighten. Ooh, cross. Stronger negative emotions. And this is where it gets a bit more difficult to explain, but easy to see when it's happening. When someone lets their feelings build up and then they explode and they get angry and rah, and they're really angry about this or really stressed about that, it might be because they're releasing pent-up emotion, says clinical psychologist Victoria Tarrant. Weight gain or loss, we're going to say. Any issues with food and weight, but they say food can be a temporary band-aid for a real problem. But we've looked at mental health and eating disorders, so we know it's not just gain, it's also weight loss. Difficulty experiencing the positive things in life. When you try to experience less sadness and anger, you're limiting the range of emotions you can experience. This includes positive feelings like joy and happiness. You can't have the positive without riding out the negative. That's interesting, isn't it? People say, things look better after you put things in balance. You need the ups to have the downs and the downs to have the ups or whatever. But they're saying here you can't have positive experience without getting through the negative. Fair enough. We want the positive experience if we're feeling down. We need to ride through the negative, and often what they're saying here, riding out the negative, often finding a way to express it or working through things with expression, which we're going to look at in a minute, how to. That is our way of riding it out. That's our surfboard on the wave. That's our Wilson. That's our raft, isn't it? So, increased cancer risk. That's bad. Everything these days, isn't it? Everything is that. Everything. So. But no, absolutely mental health. Shorter lifespan in general. Well, if you're going to have increased cancer risk and you've got difficulty experiencing positive things and strong negative emotions, absolutely, you can see why that's going to shorten your lifespan. So we don't want to go there. That's the bad place. Inc. magazine, bad place. Bye. What we do want to do is how to express yourself. Now look, this is Google. Right, this is Google. And below are 4 tips. Now, this is the ineffectiveness of Google. I've asked it a really straightforward question. I'm just going to go on my little high horse rant again now. Look, if you're not going to chat, I'm going to turn you off. If you're not going to chat, I'm going to just... Look, I can do that. Chat window capture. I'll tell you why. Because now, when I edit it, people are going to just not know what's going on. But if they saw that no one was chatting, they'd think, oh, look, no one's chatting. Oh... No, they don't have to think that. Only I see that now. And you. It doesn't matter because everyone's busy all the time, and we're just doing what we do, and we edit it and it goes up on YouTube, so it's all good. But if you do want to chat, feel free. You don't have to. You don't even have to tune in at 8 p.m. GMT, do you? You don't even have to. Cost you nothing. You get me talking this. It's nice. Right. Oh, look, I've provoked chat. Now I've got to switch it back on. I shouldn't have done that because now I've got to work out how to do it. Boom. Right. And I've got to concentrate on what you're saying. Shouldn't have done that. Let's shuffle it. There you go. Popped in to say I'm so sad that I can't watch it until after work today. Mental exhaustion is so relatable. Please tell the chuffers to be more careful out during this pandemic. Oh, those chuffers in the pandemic. Oh, you don't even want to get me started on that this week. I haven't had pandemic sadness this week. I haven't factored that into my week's sadness. I've been doing past grief sadness and working through of unresolved emotions. But I absolutely thank you. I appreciate that. That's the cheers mean massive. They make me feel like it's going somewhere. And I do appreciate, the reason I edit it and I care to edit it and get it up onto YouTube in a nicer format is because I appreciate you can't always be here live, and it is You know, it's there as legacy, isn't it? It's there as legacy now. It's there as legacy. We'll leave that up. We'll leave you up on saying nice things. They're not wearing masks. Oh, in our country, it's been. I'm going to do big face for a second, just to, you know, I agree with you 1,000,000%, and it's happened that way as well. We're just going for this sort of chuff it then approach. Just chuff it then. It's like, I'll tell you what it is, and this is a way maybe of helping. I know you're going to have a really hard series of shifts, and it's only going to compound, isn't it? The figures are baked into next week and the week after, but it's almost as if people are too, like, you're exhausted, like they're exhausted of being able to hold this concept in their mind the whole time. Like, imagine if the way I think about it, imagine if we were on a submarine and you're not allowed to open the door because the water's going to come in. You're not allowed to do that. After about 6 months, some chuffer gets up and starts tinkering with the door. What are you doing? No, you can't open it. The water's going to come in. Yeah, but I'm bored of being in a submarine now. Can we not just go out? And then after about a year, they're up again opening the door. The water's going to come in, you chuffer. And they can't. It's like they've been in the submarine so long that they just, I can't take it anymore. I have to open this door. Do you know what I mean? And like, people do go a bit mad, don't they? And do a bit, like, just open the door and kill us all. It's not as bad as it being in the submarine. We're not all going to drown. It's not as bad, but there is a bit of that. And to be honest, I kind of feel it now that I understand it, that it's hard to ask so much of people. And what you do, Snippy Snips, is extraordinary anyway. So, like, you've already got a baseline of, like, extraordinary, and when people in general are not even able to come up to ordinary, it's like, this isn't good enough. But hey, it is, isn't it? It's just people. Like, we're lucky we got this far in a way, aren't we? We're lucky we got this far. When you look back in 10 years' time, we will find a way of, you know, thinking fuffing chuff. I mean, I'm saying this, I've lost loved people, so I'm not laughing about it, but, you know, at some point you've got to just, you know, I can't express it any better. You see, I'm talking about expressions today. Can't express it any better than that, except to say, well, just chuff it. You know, chuff it. You know, at least it could be worse. Marginally, only marginally. And on another positive, at least there is now some protection. You know, we've pushed. I think there has to be this balance of saying we push as hard as we can for the vaccines and the protections and the good advice and everything, and then we leave it in the hands of the people. And we do eventually, like, how do I put this in another way? Sometimes I tread in dog poo, right? Sometimes I tread in dog poo, and I don't always get cross. I know it's horrible. It's on my shoe. It's not mine. I pick up my dog's poo. I just think it's chuffing dog poo. You know, I live in this world with chuffers who don't pick up their chuffing dog poo, and I let it go, don't I? I have to clean the chuffing shoe. But we just live with these things, don't we? We would, like, live with. This is why they say live with COVID. Is what they meant was we're not politicians, top politicians, when they say we're going to live with COVID. What they mean is we haven't got the answers. We're just human beings, and we got elected not to sort out COVID, but because we were going to do some business tax thing with our mates. So this is out of our hands. You know, it's been so long now that I've managed to get used to these things, but I can see where people have reached their breaking points. And it just, maybe I have as well, in a way. Maybe my attitude with it this week, trying to, you know, taking care of babies in the ICU that can't be vaxxed yet. So, you know, I can't make jokes about that even. How does that not break you on a daily basis? How does it not prevent you from moving forward? And people just do, don't they? They battle through it. So, like, I commend you. We have a system of, like, honours in our country that posh people get for doing nice things. And, you know, you deserve a medal. It's not like just an expression, is it? Like, you're going through it and you're fighting on our behalf. I don't live in America, so I'm not going to a hospital, but it's a principle. So, you know, think of the medals. Not medals, but the respect that society, I can say it, it's expression. We're talking about expressing today. I can express it, respect and admiration and thanks and gratitude, because if it wasn't for people like you doing your jobs, then we'd all be oops. No swearing. But I'm really grateful for it. So you have that, and it doesn't. I can't tip you in chippy coins to make it. I couldn't afford it. I haven't got the money to quantify the same value of my gratitude. Like, not just to you, but to the people in the NHS, to the nurses, to the people who push the beds around, to the people who have to clean up, to the people who drive the things with the organs on the back. Like, to anybody involved in any part of the chain that's gone to work because they thought, you know what, I could make the world a little bit better. You know, that it's more valuable. Like I said last week, you can't put it in Bitcoin, but if you could, I believe that it is more valuable than that. So you have my, I'm out here saying it on the internet that I see it. Yeah, I see you. Real recognize real. I see you. You know, that's the best I can say. Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, right. This is what I was going to say about Google. I have a little rant about this. 4 tips to effectively express yourself. But they're just 4 tips, and then all of this other stuff on Google is like how to express your writing better. Do you need Grammarly? Did you not go to school? Did you not listen in school when they taught you about the difference between there and there? Do you not know the difference between greater and fewer than? Greater than and more and less and fewer. Do you not know that H is spelled with an A, I-C-H, instead of a H? You need Grammarly. It's like an app that means if you didn't go to school, you can just pay so that no one can notice how ignorant you are. And that shouldn't be allowed. You shouldn't get to pay your way out of it. It shouldn't be pay to win. Education shouldn't be pay to... Oh, no, wait, hang on. Education, pay to win. Private school, Boris Johnson. Oh... So anyway, the point I'm making is that Google just wants to sort of be like, look, you can even get the music video for naughty with attitude. You can even get the music video for Express Yourself, but none of it is really what we're looking at in a mental health context. So we're not going to use the internet. We're just going to get a picture of Madonna. That's what we're going to look at. A picture of Madonna. No, I've got an itchy nose. You know that I've not been tinkering with anything. I'll tell you what it is. It's probably the cocoa in there. I had a friend who used to say, was it a partner? Used to sneeze when they had chocolate. Somebody I used to know used to sneeze when they had chocolate. And but I can't fiddle with my nose because I'm picking my nose. Because I'm online now. I'm on the internet. I'm live to the entire world. Should they choose to have a look. Look, I've done it now. I've done it. Oh, you wouldn't catch Philip Schofield doing that. You wouldn't catch Philip Schofield. Right, I was going to make this video about naving, but I stopped, didn't I? Wasn't going to be me doing my editing about my dog to that music video. I stopped. I couldn't do it. It made me feel too sad. And that wasn't really what I wanted to express in the way. Maybe I wanted to look at it. Maybe my songs drew me to it. Maybe I was working out grief and I wanted to have another look. But I didn't want to edit it. Couldn't dream it. I had to turn off the computer. But I did want to express myself. So let's look at ways to express yourself. Number 1, and this is my notes now I'm reading. You'll get to look at Madonna. I read my notes, okay? Number 1, talking to friends. We just did it a minute ago. Me and Snippy Snips, when Capital K was here earlier. We were talking to each other. It's friends. We're friends. We talk. You talk to your friends. My friend called me up. He was drunk and we were having a chat. That's what happened at the weekend that led to this. But it gets underestimated that talking to people is a form of expression. It's an easy, lucid, over coffee, don't even have to think too much. If you're really good friends, then you don't have to worry even about the social cues and do you mind if I do? Did you, you can just be yourself, can't you? And like, get me a beer. I'm joking. I'm drinking soy chocolate milk. I don't drink beer, but you could just, that is expression of yourself, and it's your purest self without any filter. You're just talking to your friends, and quite often the things that come up can be the things that are important to you, and maybe the only people you'd really want to talk about some of these things with is your friends, or if it's me, my friends on the internet, everyone in the world. So that's number 1, talking to friends. It's good, isn't it? Scott's top tips. We might get through these tonight, and we might get on to a little bit about identity. Number 2, art. Well, that's good. Glad we covered that. Probably the first thing people think of is art. It's not just as simple as go and paint a picture of your feelings, though. Let's look at the different arts and how they can be cathartic. Let's take a look. It's like a documentary, isn't it? No, I'm just going to read. You're going to listen. Enjoy. Number 1, music. I'm not going to go through all the arts. We're not. You get the gist already, don't you? But I am going to say some things that might spark a few ideas that might be a bit, I don't know, I just did some writing, so I might as well, eh? This is what your Patreon dollar gets you. It is going to be worth it in the long run. We're going to really push forward with this. Number 1, music. Music and mental health interests me because it can help on both ends of the spectrum. Some music can speak of your pain, and rather than make it worse, it can help to label it, tie it to a concept, and help you endure. Having something or someone place themselves in your pain through music lets you feel that out there someone gets it. Music can lift you. Often when I miss someone, I decide to listen to a sad song and feel the feelings. Then I actively select a happier song that will lift my mood and energise me. I'm sure we've all got tunes that just make us want to dance. So that's like a talk about music, isn't it? It's nice. It's nice. How do you get into music? Well, there's 2 avenues. One is you go out and you listen to it. You put on your radio, you download it on your iTunes, you put it on your Walkman. You just listen to it, don't you? But I actually think that going out to an experience live, the COVID, let's chuff that up. But live music is amazing, isn't it? Whether you're going to see your favourite band or a DJ or a club, club life might be a bit different for different people. But that is, we're going to come on to that when we talk about dancing as well. But live music and hearing it live and experiencing it live is really special. So that's cathartic in itself. So there's the aspect of music where it's not just that music is... We're talking about expression. So going to hear other people express themselves, I know this sounds weird, but you can feel like you are expressing something too, because you are identifying with and sharing a concept of expression. Maybe you sing along, maybe you dance. So going to see live music counts for me as part of expression. But you can also get involved, and back to my notes, you can also get involved in music production. My top tips here are to speak of that authenticity. We're not all going to be superstars, but if you can enjoy writing and you get pleasure from making these things exist, that can be a big win for your mental health. I write and compose guitar songs, and they just sort of... I've got my guitar over there. The way it happens, I did a video on it once on the vlog, is the way it happens is I just play the guitar, like riffing, playing things that sound like I feel, whether I'm upbeat or down low, whatever I'm feeling like, I play the guitar like it, and then from that comes some sort of structure, some sort of repeating theme that I that's the sound of how I'm feeling, like that's it there, and then I write that down, F C D A or whatever it is, and I do it, and then the words are just there, they just sort of start to come. I don't have to sit down separately with a pad of paper and write down words that rhyme and think up what words could go where. While I'm playing the guitar, the words just start coming out of me, and they might start sounding like this and that was all I knew, or it might have a this and in it first, but it very quickly crystallizes into a couple of key hook lines, the thing that I'm trying to say. Well, when I say trying to say, the thing that I'm trying to spill out of my mouth, I get all that down, and then I've only got 2 verses and a bridge to fill in. Sometimes the bridge is a bit more organic, sometimes it's a bit more deliberate. Sometimes I have to say we need another section in this song. Now it's time to do some work writing it. But other than that, it's all organic and it all just happens. And I guess that's why it's the best expression of my inner feelings, of my soul or whatever, because I don't have to think, and it's what's just there in the well, and I'm just bringing the water up and getting wet, aren't I? So yeah, that's how I compose guitar songs. But I don't imagine that I'm going to end up being like George Michael or anyone. George Michael, because Madonna's up there, so it's the same era. I don't imagine that's going to turn me into Madonna, but for me it's very cathartic. What have I written here? yeah, you get pleasure from making things exist. And what I mean by that is that you have these feelings and these ideas, and you can create. Now that song exists. Now I've got a folder, and this is what I'm going to do for an ASMR videos. I'm going to try. It's nice, isn't it? A bit of a folder, a bit of a whisper through the folder. Got a folder of songs now that I've done and written. Songs what I've done, and yeah, they exist. They only exist in there at the moment, but some of them exist on the internet now, and some of them exist as recordings, and yeah, like they exist. They'll exist long after I will. So that's nice for me, I guess. Both those things are cathartic. Alright, I've also written here, I also rap, which is more of a cerebral process. Yeah, I sit down and write raps. Write raps. When I'm writing hip hop, when I'm writing lyrics in that context, bars, MCing, I do sit down with a pad of paper and the beat going and ideas coming and writing and thinking and maybe sometimes referencing in a book and writing. Yeah, I do that more cerebral. But it's the performance of that for me is more emotionally cathartic. So there's something in that. They're both different. They're both different ways of me expressing feelings. I love to perform the rap and I get a buzz out of it. But my guitar stuff makes me feel too emotional to properly perform. I'm not a very good performer. I'm not a very good guitarist, maybe. I'm all right. But when I try and do it live and perform, I've got all these feelings attached to it, all these emotions, and I feel embarrassed and hot and sad, and you know, for me to sit and play my guitar is for me. It's not for the whole world to. I mean, it'd be nice. It would be lovely, wouldn't it, if like the whole world thought I was, you know, as good as Ed Sheeran or something like that. But then again, like I say, I'm not in a studio with a producer and a marketing team, am I? So I'm not going to be thought of in those ways. I'm not even going to be able to make my sound that comparable. Got my little mixing thing here, got my little computer, got my little, you know, notepad, and I get it out there, don't I? I don't know. Yeah, for me, it's too emotional. Anyway, that's the point I'm trying to make, and that's good because it's part of my cathartic expression, isn't it? It's good that it's emotional. I've written there that I did do an acoustic night. I did do an acoustic night at the local cinema bar a few years ago, and that was actually very cathartic for me. A lot of people that I knew there, a lot of family and friends, and I played some of the songs that meant something to me, so it was actually nice to be able to sort of draw a little circle around it and say, well, they've all heard it now, so they can live with that. Music can be a path to expression if you develop a relationship with an instrument. I've written here. This is an instrument, interesting point. There's a bit of discipline, a bit of practice, a bit of constantly going back to it. Not every day, maybe every day. Maybe you do the structured lessons. I didn't. I just picked up the guitar whenever I felt like I needed to. But the repetition, the doing it often, you develop a relationship with an instrument, and you can love an instrument, you can hate an instrument, you can find the one for you, and they speak in different ways. You know, the drums are about physically hitting them, or they can be really gentle, can't they? Soft taps. Soft tapping, but you develop a relationship with an instrument. I mean that sincerely, and that process, that discipline, that you know, returning to and utilizing and putting down and feeling and picking up and thinking, that is very mentally healthy for working through your feelings, and it also gives you a sense of achievement when you get better at it, when you become more prolific. Yeah, there's something in that as well, I guess. But for me, I was mainly leaning here on the relationship with the instrument. Yeah, I've said it now. I don't need to tell you that beautiful music can make you feel, but feeling can shape your creation of beautiful music. That's a key point, isn't it? And I think this is where I'm not going to disparagingly criticise all pop music now and say, oh, it's rubbish. Capital K brought up Shakira earlier. I mean, I like the tunes, and she's done some really sincere music. The pop world is sold through marketing, image, you know, it's sold through this machine, and even things. A great example of something that they say, oh no, yeah, but you can still be that man on TikTok doing his went to the chip with the billy of tea and then and that can still. So it's not just marketing, is it? But actually that was all marketing for TikTok, wasn't it? They were looking for something to be the next big viral sensation, and when they found something that they could get behind and give it that oomph, they pushed it. And what really spoke to me was when on the Brit Awards, that Billy of Tea, Billy of Tea, he was on the Brit Awards in the UK, the awards for music in the UK. He was on that year because he was a sensation, wasn't he? An internet sensation. And what they did was they did a parody of his song and made a joke out of it. So it wasn't taken seriously as a medium. It wasn't that sea shanties suddenly were given, serious thought for context and cultural meaning. It was just like, oh, it's a fun joke. It's like the Crazy Frog song. It's a meme. It's a meme, isn't it? It's a meme. So yeah, you can become a meme. And yeah, there can be breakthroughs and, other artists on the underground that do things, get their voices heard. And I've always been a bit bitter about this because I wanted to do real, authentic music. And I've always felt that the things that get heard more, that get promoted more, that get the big sort of reward are the inauthentic. And I've always felt as well, because I've never been part of the inauthentic, I've never been hyped by that, in the hype. I've always really leaned towards the things that I just love. That's what my friend was telling me. That's what reminds me of it, and that's why we're talking about this, is I feel sad for the people who don't have that CD collection of Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, of this depth of... I'm going to sound like an old person by listing old bands like, Pink Floyd and whatever, whatever depth. It doesn't have to be that depth. It can be a different kind of depth. It can be country and western. You can know the history of the blues, whatever. If you just exist in this vapid pop moment, if it's just whatever this week's chart topper on the radio is, and those things are sort of less built on feeling, and sometimes they can be provoking of emotion. Quite often it's sauce, isn't it? It's a bit of sauce, a bit of orange, have you sexed me, have you seen me sexy, do you want a harder, it's a bit of that, but there's Madonna. Express yourself. But I'm not saying that's necessarily bad. What I'm saying is that if you're a young person dealing with feelings and you're looking for an artistic expression that can mirror your own, and we're not in that little happy bubble, then where's the thing for you? And the fact that these things are not highlighted and pushed, the fact they're pushed away from the mainstream more, the things of real substance that you really can get something from, the fact that they're not promoted at the fore, that's the shame to me. And I worry for people who, like I say, they don't have that they can fall back on. I watched a little stream. So interesting thing happened this week. I watched a little stream of a person I'd never watched before. I can't even remember her name. So I can't promote her and say how good she was, but she was talking about books, and that's why I watched it, is because I just flicked on this stream and she was talking about books, and I'm like, oh right, okay, good. Because no one else on the thing is talking about books, so I'm like, this is interesting to me. And it was books that I'd read, and bless her, this was a bit funny. She said this book was written in 1940. She was talking about 1984, which I thought was written in 1948, but she said 38. I'll let her have it, whatever. She was saying about how old it was, and Aldous Huxley's New World, Brave New World, and how old it was. And I was like thinking, but we've had Greek mythology and the Bible. There's so many books that are written so long ago. So long ago, and we still got them. From then to now, so much literature. And if you think that 1984 and Aldous Huxley are old, and they brought in these first ideas of this and that, then you're missing a huge trick. But you've got so much to explore, so great, good for you. But yeah, anyway, so they were talking about books, and I thought this is really good. And I thought this is what made me think of this and reflect on this, is that if you're young these days and you're not reading 1984 and you're not reading Brave New World or Z for Zachariah, or if you're reading Harry Potter, as nice as he is, as nice as people like him, and I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, I'm not a big J.K. Rowling fan, I'm not a big fan of her and her work and her approach to work, which seemed to be collage other people's ideas and just sort of spaff it out like a hamburger. But people love hamburgers, don't they? At the end of the day, they've got that giant chest in Harry Potter, haven't they? So come on. Look, don't do Harry Potter, don't do him over. But what I'm saying is, if that's your depth, there might be something in it for you. And we're talking about expression. So if that's your thing, fine. I'm not, I had a little joke. I'm not, bring your book, enjoy it. Go on, wear your hat, be a Slytherin or a Voldemort or whatever you are. I don't care. It's fine. Each their own. It's not hurting me. I don't mind. But I do worry for you that you don't share that depth. Like Dostoevsky taught me things about my soul, about who I am, because I read Crime and Punishment. It made me feel things. I cried. And Harry Potter might do that. It might teach you about the darkness of the tortured soul. It might. But I worry for people without that depth to their library, not just in terms of literature, but in terms of music, in terms of film, in all of it, in terms of all the culture. If we just want to chew bubblegum every day, then it's going to leave you bereft. So that's why it's so good. And I was also going to make a little note here on vaporwave. Vaporwave. Why is Scotty Harty talking about vaporwave now? And there was this other one where this guy, I was a bit jealous of this. I'll quite happily say I'm talking about envy because I watched ContraPoints talking about envy. Oh, I love ContraPoints. Do I love her because I'm envious of her, or do I just love her? I don't know. I love her. I just love her. So ContraPoints talks about envy this week, so go and watch her video. It's brilliant. But a note on vaporwave, and someone put up these remixes of modern songs like Britney Spears, and they slowed them down and added reverb. And what it did is it got around the YouTube copyright, which is brilliant. I thought that was very clever. And also it created this sort of new ambient way of listening to these songs. And I thought, you fucking chuffer. I used to do that. I've got my decks. I used to put on old, Mom's got 45s and they're like Motown songs. I used to put on old, maybe I should still do this. Maybe I should still do this and I could ride this wave. I won't be known as the first, but I did. And I used to put them on slow, and then try and mix other forms of music into them because the beat pattern was too fast at the high tempo, so I used to slow them down, try and mix a bit of breakbeat in, and then sometimes I'll be listening to these like old songs on slow, and then I've got that box that makes the reverb and stuff, and I used to mess around with the reverb and the loops and the just really slow old music, and that hit a wave, more modern with Britney Spears and people like that, but what it was doing was someone was using modern culture to create something with more depth, to slow it down, to give more sentiment and feeling to the music, to add that reverb, to make you feel more, have more space, and to make you feel more, I guess, in a certain depth. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really good. So that happened on the internet. And vaporwave, things that express feelings that you can't really explain, that are part of a zeitgeist, part of a time. And like I was saying, these young people are not being offered as much depth, and they're creating their own on the internet. Memes are not just silly. I made a joke about it earlier. You can become a meme. But actually, meme culture has depth. It has feeling. In a small picture, you can express a sentiment. And there's a lot in that. So we'll get on to other forms of art in a minute. Dancing comes next. We've got Madonna on today, haven't we? Got Madonna. I'm not going to check. Oh, don't knock the microphone. Dancing comes next. It can be as simple as bopping in your bedroom or kitchen. And some of these things I've written, now I'm reading them, like, come on. Come on. What are you doing? Right in the back of a cookbook. Blurb for the back of a cookbook. Dancing. You can bop in your kitchen. Have you tried listening to the radio? Is this a new mic? This is the same ribbon mic, slightly different settings, trying hard to make it sound better, made better by the box thing that we bought with the patron, and I discovered that the wire was making a fuzzy humming sound, so I've moved the wire around now and twisted it up over there, but we've got so many wires, don't even. But I have been getting the other mics rigged up. I did some ASMR, I was just saying earlier, did some ASMR whispering I tried to make a whisper track, like a rap whisper. And I've been trying to read some of my lyrics in a whisper. So this all little setup is somehow, talking about expression, is pointing towards ASMR again. But I never want to promise that now, because I always fuff up. I always make a promise and then never fucking chuff it, do it. So let's do it first and then make the promises after. Dolce & Gabbana, Fendi and Madonna. Oh yeah, like Donna Fiona, Madonna Karen. No, I got one. Madonna there. That's the Vogue era as well, isn't it? Strike a pose. There's nothing to it. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, man, voguing's a form of expression, isn't it? Talking about dance, that's what we're doing now. Dance, voguing, God, those lads, they changed the world, didn't they? They changed the way people thought about powerful images of freedom, didn't they? Yeah, the voguers. And then they make their own catwalk in the disco, make their own, like, they brought their own sense of fabulous culture and organically, it's cultivated this form. I thought it was brilliant. We should do a whole episode on it one day. But it can be simple as bopping in your kitchen, but it gives you a massive boost. I was going to do the science, but we all know there's endocrines and endocrines. There's hormones. You dance, it makes you feel good. Oh, you get your dancing shoes on, you get your dancing, you do your dancing, your brain goes, that's the dopamine from the dancing, because you get the old, I don't know who that is. That impression. They enjoy dancing though. In my brain, they were an old club, like an old smoky atmosphere, old club. Like older people dancing. Oh, would you like a dance? Can I interest you in taking you on the floor? Right, look. The club life might not be for everyone, but when I was a kid, I went to a dance class. Here's a story. Endorphins, that's it. Endorphins, endocrines. Chuffing hell. Here's a story. Oh, I've dropped the lid of the chocolate milk. That means I've got to finish it all now. You can't put that lid back on now. That's the rule, isn't it? That's the rule. Oh gosh, so many calories in a litre, but at the end of the day, they're good calories, aren't they? Of chocolatey goodness. So I went to a dance class. I was Dancer of the Year 1988. I'll have to dig out the photographs for you sometime. My sister wanted to go to disco dancing class. I didn't particularly, but when you're 8 years old and your 7-year-old sister wants to go to disco dancing class and your parents want to leave you somewhere once a week for at least an hour, then you go, don't you? You go. So I did. I went, and there was only 2 boys, me and this other lad called Scott. Hi Scott, if you're definitely not watching, but someone I got on well with and always have time for, I guess, is a way of saying that. A friend, isn't it? But not someone I call up and go and see all the time, but someone I've got time for. Anyway, we were young boys in the class, mainly other girls in the dance. This is disco dancing with the costumes and but I was chuffing doing it. I was into it. I Dancer of the Year 1988. I won an award. Got my levels. Got my grades. Did my routine. Got my. I was in that dance class to win. There's no winning. You can't win dancing. But I was taking it seriously. I was doing it all up until the point where I remember as I was sort of turning, like growing up a bit and getting a bit more aware of being cool. I don't know, whatever. And my dance teacher wanted me to do a couple of moves that I was like, oh, they're a bit cringe. Cringe would now be the word. Back then, I didn't think I would have just said embarrassing would have been the word, embarrassing. I didn't want to do them. I didn't have it in me to express myself and say, no thanks. That's not the kind of dancing I feel comfortable doing. So I just didn't go back to dancing anymore. I just said, I don't want to do that anymore. So I didn't. But I carried on dancing in my life, didn't I? Later on, I went to ballroom dancing. That's a way of expressing yourself. Is it? Is it though? Is it really? Yeah, kind of. You do different moods, different flavours. But when you're doing I should remember the names of them now. Some of them are a bit more raunchy, aren't they? And some of them you're a bit more a bit of a flower out the side of my mouth. Some of them you're a bit more like that, aren't you? And some of them you're a bit more laid back and just trying to float. It's expression. But dancing is a good way to learn new skills, to meet people. It doesn't matter what kind of dancing. You can actually do a silly dance class just for fun. Like everyone who does these dances is now going to hate me. But like salsa was like a flare wave over our country for about 2 years. Everyone knew someone who was doing salsa, or there was a salsa class going on. It doesn't mean you're going to become like a salsa dancer. It doesn't mean for the next 10 years I'm going to be increasing the height of my trousers until they reach here, and I'm going to be stamping my heels until they reach this. I'm not going to become something like like out there. I'm just going to enjoy a bit of dancing with a few mates. Just have a bit and then do it for 6 weeks. Don't have to go back. Don't have to become a world's expert. Just did it for a bit. Had some fun. In it. But for some, it's the path to self-expression, and you do a bit of salsa and you realise that your hips don't lie. Do they? Capital K. And that you've got this in you, and you got that flow and you got that vibe, and when it's like and cha-cha and you're just like cha-cha and you've got it, and then you go home and you're like, what, I actually like doing this thing, and it actually it speaks of my with this thing in me that I can't explain, this like matador presence that I don't get to do all the time, but I enjoy expressing because it's part of me, and it's not pride in horrible mean things, nationalism and rudeness. It's pride in the joy of the human expression and the dance and the music. And yeah, you might end up being a salsa dancer. Remember, we can't name what we're trying to express. So being drawn to the mosh pit or getting it all out on the dance floor, it can be just organic, and it can leave you feeling changed. What Scotty Hotty's been writing a script. But it can still be an unnamed thing. It's not an object. You don't carry this bag on. I've got this bag of troubles that I'm taking with me to the club this weekend, and I'm going to get them on the dance floor, and I'm going to get them out, and I'm going to dance a dance that means boss was being mean to me, and I'm going to dance a dance that means got trouble paying my bills. And that whole Saturday Night Fever film was about money's hard, life is tough, but we just can't dance and forget it. It can be about forgetting it, whatever, but it's mysterious. And you go in there thinking, I'm stressed and I'm fed up, and you come out thinking, yeah, woo, please, no, I don't need any flyers. No, that's fine, I don't need any flyers. No, that's fine. I'll take them. If I'm taking that one, I'll take yours as well. I'll take them all. No, I don't want all of them. Or to hand them out. Well, I needed to go and get a kebab, didn't I? Well, okay, fair enough. Would you like a flyer? Sorry, I don't work here. This guy just gave them to me. Wait, well, he's gone. Where's he gone? I think he's gone to get us a kebab. Look, you might enjoy yourself. You might leave. Oh, look, want to become famous? We've been through this. I don't have the expertise on how to block you, but consider yourself blocked. We're talking about authenticity, aren't we? We're talking about authenticity. So no, that wouldn't work for me. But yeah, you don't know what it is, but you feel changed. It's not an object. It's not something you left on the dance floor, but it is, isn't it? It's something mysterious that happened in the dance, in the flow, in the arena. Same with sport. We're going to come on to that later. Art, a wealth of a medium. Right, so we've done dancing. We've cleared dancing. I've only got 40 minutes before the dog needs a poo. I'm not going to get through the whole world of art, am I? But let's just say it's a wealth of a medium. But I've got some points that are a bit different that you might want to consider. You can paint a picture. It's the obvious one. No, we're not going to just disregard it though. A picture is a child's most preferred choice of expression. Mind blown. I did some research. Children, especially children who are shy, they express themselves quite confidently sometimes by drawing pictures. It's not every child's choice, but the most common choice for shy children is drawing. Wow, they like drawing. So do we. We're all children inside. We like drawing. Do a bit of video drawing. It's good. It helps you to express things. But it doesn't have to be that, does it? It's interesting to me that often mental health and art begins with a violent or vibrant abstract painting. There was an Irish, and I do this to myself every week. I thought that was my video, so I'll be able to find that really easily. But this video, we went to this gallery.
Hey everybody, right now Udemy is having...
Not you at home. You on the internet. You're on the internet as well. I'm on the internet. Look, we can all be quiet for a period of time. This artist, I'll show you some art because we were talking about art, aren't we? Or maybe I won't. Maybe the internet won't like it. Look, the internet just simply doesn't like it, does it? Look, just having to think about that. So there you go. There's a crow's. Such a great image. Such a great image. There's another one. He's done these. They're not. That's abstract, isn't it? It's like demon-faced people and bright colours and blue and green and that's a crozier. He's Irish and he went to war and he came back from war and obviously it disturbed him, didn't it? The war. So did these paintings. That's kind of what my first, it might not be for everyone, maybe you'll think differently to me, but when I first think about mental health and art and expressing yourself with paintings, and I think about Van Gogh, I always get those two names confused. Van Gogh, when I think about Van Gogh and his painting, and his abstractish, when you think about that, this is the sort of thing you think about, isn't it? Mental health and art. But it's interesting to me that great painted art comes from the hands of often troubled individuals. And if you dig a bit deeper, you get other stuff as well. This is like just one aspect of art, isn't it? But someone else who's troubled that produces art is Ai Weiwei. Oh, God, I should have... how are we going to find this? Ai Weiwei. He had him then. He had him. Ai Weiwei. Ai Weiwei is dealing with Chinese politics. I want to say politics. So, he's grown up and been affected by the Chinese state. Is a better way of saying it, isn't it? Affected by. And he produces things that are in exactly, the most beautiful ways, but have some sort of more... Like, they're abstracting in different ways, aren't they? Where's sunflower seeds? It's on this page, but you can't see it there. Right, how do I make it so you can see it? It's not going to do it for me, is it? You're not going to do it for me, are you? You're not going to do it for me. I want them to see it. There you go, sunflower seeds. Look, see that? It's a great big pile of sunflower seeds. So it's not a painting. It's not vibrant colours. It's not any of that. It's an idea. It's that conceptual stuff, isn't it? The stuff that I love. It's an idea that is manifest in a form... What does it mean? Well, it means stuff. It's social. Ai Weiwei's mental health is different to the mental health of someone who went to war in Ireland, isn't it? He's trying to convey different ideas, but equally important ones. Oh, I've accidentally opened up the news. Let's quit that, please. Thank you. So what I'm trying to say here, and you could also look at Banksy. I don't have to get a Banksy up for you to know what Banksy is. In other aspects, social feelings and concepts can be better expressed by art. So Ai Weiwei and Banksy, what they're doing is they've got feelings about the world they're in, and they're hard to explain. They're big concepts. And what do they do to express them? They create these things. You could call them sculptures. They create these objects, these artworks, and they help everyone to understand these ideas. When people see a Banksy, they're like, oh yeah, I get that. It's clever, isn't it? But I get that. We all see what he's trying to say there. Comment on society. It's part of sunflower seeds. It's a comment on society. And it helps him feel better because the things he's struggling with, I guess, I kind of know. But the things he's struggling with, this is his way of at least working them through. Yeah. So feeling that you're creating something that only expresses your feelings but also asks questions of others, that makes a big difference to some people. And so I think the best way to get started in art, because this has got to be tied in, I've got to keep doing it, tying it in, we're about expression, aren't we? Talking expressing yourself and how you can learn to express yourself in this way. So rather than being specific and saying this is a course on how to do painting, I'm saying the best way to get into it is visiting galleries, going experiencing other people's work, especially the work of interesting, vibrant, different artists, and letting it soak in, be in those galleries, look at the things, and then decide what you want to go and buy, which colour paint and what idea you want to try and push towards, and actually get busy doing it. Actually have a crack at making something, have a go at it. It could easily be just painting and drawing, as we've said, very good expression tools. But you can use anything, can't you? You can get interested in anything. Artistic generally here, but also we're going to go on to see some other stuff as well. In fact, let's do that now. Let's do other forms of expression before I finish up with my final two. My final two are going to be writing and game development, just in case you wanted to know. I'm not going to keep that a secret. Right, number one though, other forms of expression. We can look at making videos, designing clothes, sport, architecture, role-playing games. There's an endless list of discovery, and the main point is to have a go at it, is to find the thing that you like, to find the thing that resonates with you, that seems to allow you to express or look into the things that you want to. It's kind of like you feel it organically. You know the vibe is right with this piece of media, with that group of people. You just know, don't you? It changes over your life. It's important to make sure that you keep that door open, that you don't say, okay, I'm a mosh pit rocker, therefore I'm not going to go and look at any sunflower seeds, and I'm definitely not going to go and have my hips shaking in a salsa. No. Got to be open to everything, because you wouldn't be a goth rocker if you didn't have an open mind in the first place to look at the alternative. So you've got to be open to the whole point of working these things through. The whole point of this being a process of self-discovery, of expression. So it might be that by doing it, you might change the things you want to do. And that's okay. That's okay. That's good. So that I wanted to say was important. These other forms of identity, we're going to look at identity in a minute, but these other forms of expression are varied and wild and wide, and they can be anything from makeup to hair to a complete disregard for your makeup and hair and a passion for cooking. You know, it can be anything, and it can be different for everyone else. So that's all good. That's all good. Being part of that is good. Writing. Got half an hour. I want to knock writing out. I was going to read some poems, but I'm not going to. Or maybe we'll have a look at one. And then I want to talk about identity. So writing can be personal. It can lead to great things. Journaling can give you a record of events, and it also helps you think through things as you commit them to text. If you post on Facebook, you're only one step away from actually the proper blog. Excuse me, I've drunk so much chocolate milk now, it's repeating on me. If you do write on the old Facebook, though, you are only one step away from a proper vlog, aren't you? A proper blog. Because that little post there, that little tweet that you do, you can expand on that a few more words, a thing. You know, you can write a sentence, a paragraph about the thing you're thinking, maybe turn it into a little blog post. You're only one step away from being a writer. Most of us are. It's not easy for us to think that we've got that whole book in us, but you do a little bit every day. You find your time. Have a crack at it. It's interesting. But writing can be, in terms of expression, it can be the most direct as well. I've written, even though art seems more vivid and more direct and more raw. Music to me seems very direct. But with writing, you can literally say the things. Like all the way back to the top, talking to friends is the main one, the number one. But with writing, you can literally say the things, can't you? You can literally say them. And you have time. A great phrase I saw on the television recently was, if I'd had more time, I'd have written you a shorter letter. That's our podcast all over. I spend ages yabbling on about things that could be a bit more concise if I spent more time to edit them, which become more concise when I edit them. But yeah, if I had more time, I'd have written you a shorter letter. But with writing, you can really compose. I mean, it's literally composing, isn't it? But you think things through more than once. You choose the different words that represent it best. Maybe even you go to the dictionary and check out if that word you're saying is what it means, because I've said it all these years and I'm pretty sure, but I'm not. Before I write it down, I'm just going to check. It's not the same as using Grammarly. Right. But it should be clear, shouldn't it? Writing should be one of the main ones. But I think it's interesting. I've gone through all the other ones first and I've left writing to the end. And Poetry Corner, I've written down there, Poetry Corner. So we have to do this now. I'm a factual, gotta do it. Not waving, but drowning. This is Poetry Corner for today. Stevie Smith. Always wondered whether Stevie Smith was a man or a woman, but in today's day and age, I think what a wonderful concept that they can just be a they. Not waving, but drowning. I'll read it, won't I? I'll read it. Oh, it's gone all over my face. You can't see my face. I'll read it. It's sad. Got a bit of a stuffy nose from all that hay fever walking in the fields today, but doggy needs his walking half an hour. This is a good one though, and it's one I wanted to alight on the other week, and I just thought I wanted to bring it up. It's for Mental Health Monday. Nobody heard him, the dead man, but still he lay moaning. I was much farther out than you thought, and not waving, but drowning. Poor chap, he always loved larking, and now he's dead. It must have been too cold for him. His heart gave way, they said. Oh, no. It was too cold always. Still the dead one lay moaning. I was much too far out all my life. Not waving, but drowning. See, now I'm trying not to cry. No, I'm trying not to cry. But how powerful, isn't that? Isn't that powerful? Seems a bit silly in a way, doesn't it? Silly little thing about the seaside. There's some really strange, like you can analyse that in so many different ways, but there's so many, just, for me, I've always felt that it's like got this strange bounce to it, this meter of, it's almost like a conversation at one point. Poor chap, he always loved larking. Where's that come from? And now he's dead. It's not like rhyming like a poem. It's not like what? It's like it kind of, and doing so, it stutters you out of your thought pattern of lovely poem, swimming, waving, drowning. It like gives you this this little kick or a prod, in my opinion. And now he's dead. Full stop. No, it's not a full stop, does it? After now he's dead. It's just a poems always break my brain a little bit, because I want to use punctuation more than anything. I want the punctuation to tell me when to start and stop talking, but I have to be respectful of the form they've decided. And now he's dead is its own. Is it like a space after, isn't it? It's like a space. They haven't written, it's what they haven't written that's made the difference, and the repetition. But of course, you know, I'm only saying these things about the super segmental features of the language. Just pop out my degree every now and then. I don't have a degree, but you know, don't even like poems. That was low-key good, isn't it? It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. What's really amazing with it, though, is the simple concept that we can understand. Expressing yourself. I wasn't waving, I was drowning. Like it's a concept, isn't it? It's so much in that one line, and it's repeated. It's repeated, but I feel it. You know, I understand that you feel it too. That sometimes it might look to the rest of the world like you're smiling and you're waving, mightn't it? It might look that way, and you might even be doing so. Or maybe they've got it wrong. You know, maybe you're out there and you're struggling. What's interesting in this poem is that like there's an inherent sadness as well, a sentimental sadness, because the person, the dead man, who's moaning. It's interesting as well that the dead man is alive, isn't it? He's still moaning. He's not dead, but they say he's dead. There's this strange concept in there, but it gives you these things to sort of hold on to. Dead man, drowning, and then it kind of like 2 ice creams, gives them to you like that, and then you sort of watch them melt over your hands as you realise that that's you. You're not holding ice creams, you're in the sea, and you're waving, and you just wish that, you know, they would realise maybe we're not expressing ourselves as well as we could. But wrapped up in that, the inability to express ourselves is pure core heart expression that we can all understand. So it's magic, that poem. It's magic. You know, it's saying, look, we don't understand each other sometimes. We don't see into the hearts of men as we should. I said men, patriarchy. We don't see into the hearts of people as we should. But it shows you into the heart of the author. And the author has your heart too. You know, we're all waving and drowning. But on Mental Health Monday, we're reaching out our hands and, you know, we're forming a protective life ring, aren't we? So there we go. I can't help with the patriarchy. It was drummed into me, wasn't it? I literally grew up in a world where the elders taught me the concepts of the patriarchy were to be upheld and that they were good. You know, be a man, be a tough man, make sure you can provide for your family, make sure that you, I don't know, you know, I was taught to do that. I did want to talk about identity, and this is really going to be like an add-on that we're going to talk about in a bigger way in the future. But there's Madonna, and there's cultural identity. This is from the A-levels. From the A-levels? What you want about A-level sociology? I don't want to do A-level sociology. That's boring. No, it's not. Listen, cultural identity. What I want to talk about here briefly, and I'll raise it in like dropping a bad smell in the room. I'm going to raise it, and then I'm going to leave it there, and then you can deal with this. You can find a way of expressing it in this week. Some people I'm really proud of Some people I'm proud. Pride's not a virtue. I have to remember this, but some people I'm really proud of, or that I see in culture, and it makes me well up with like we're getting there. Like we're getting there. Some people I'm really proud of. Capital K, you mentioned Drag Race the other day. I'm really hard. I mean, I worked as a hairdresser as well, so I've got friends who are of all sexual orientations, I should say, and of varying degrees of fabulousness. From dressed not at all extravagantly to completely like full makeup, the shebang. You know what I mean? So I'm really proud. I mean, Pride. We do talk about Pride, don't we? Gay Pride. We talk about Pride, the Pride March. But when I see these expressive figures, these people who are expressing this celebration of their expression of themselves, it makes me think, proud, we're getting there. We're gonna, we're flying that flag, and this is the, the Ganji Puka warrior crew. This is the army. These are the people I'm part of. This is, it's happening. We're there. We're not, we're winning. We're winning. It makes me feel good. But talking about expression, aren't we? Talking about personal expression, identity expression. And what's interesting, because I was watching ContraPoints, someone who I value highly, and she talks about gender politics, identity, importantly, and has a voice that isn't mainstream heard, and has done a lot of research, has lived a lot of these struggles, and has a really important thing to say about some of these things. Identity is part of all of this. What you are expressing quite often is your feelings about this has happened, that's happened, this, that, but also part of your choice of means of expression is your identity, in a way. And what I wanted to pick apart, I wanted to destroy it. I wanted to destroy it just quickly by looking through these A-level notes. Right? It's a construct, for a start. It's a construct, identity. It's socially constructed, we say in sociology. Socially constructed. And what that means is that the lines that we're drawing around are agreed on by each other. So, we're just people, aren't we? We're just people. I'm not a this or a that or a thing or a them. I'm just a people. I don't have any boxes. I like doing whatever. I like eating chocolate. I like eating ice cream. I'm not a chocolate person. I'm not an ice cream person. I've just got tastes. They vary, whatever. But now we need to draw a line around it. We need to say, what kind of people do you most want to sleep with? Can you definitely say for a fact it's them? Because we need to draw a box around you and put you in that box. Thank you. And then what? No, hang on. Wait, you're kissing somebody you're not supposed to kiss because you're a boy and they're a boy. No, you need to go in this box, I'm afraid. So if you're kissing that person, you need to go in that box now. And then, hang on, you want to what? You've got feelings about your identity regarding your biology and your sexuality. Sorry, we're going to have a problem now because we've got another box that we need to get. This is part of our social construct. It's important for society because you need to talk about things, give them labels. That's what we're going to come on to, labels. You need to say, this is a thing, this is a that. I can understand it because it's a that. I'm scared of this. But it's not that important deep down to who you really are, is to be able to draw a label around it. But we're saying on self-expression that we're going to try and find a way of, expressing ourselves. Some things that you can't write down. What are they? Who am I inside? I can't write that down by saying I am a boy. It doesn't mean who I am inside. These other things, gender, social class, age, religion, ethnicity, they're really helpful. I am a mixed race Muslim living in England in the middle class. Whatever, do you know what I mean? Like, you can draw those lines with those definitions, and they, like, a better way of me explaining this is I love Birmingham City. I'm a Birmingham fan. I'm a Blue Nose. I support Birmingham City Football Club, and it's part of my identity. I've got a tattoo of it on my leg. I'm a blue nose. You can't take me to go and sit and watch the Villa or the Baggies. You can't take me to go and sit and watch a different football team, and I can't have the same fit. I'll be like, I'm a traitor. What am I doing here? I went to watch Bristol when I lived in Bristol. I wore my Birmingham top because I am Birmingham. Birmingham is me. But you can't ask the people at the football club, oh, where's Scott this week? And they don't care. He is not. Birmingham goes on without him. But it's been internalised by me as part of my identity. I've been able to draw I'm a football fan. I am a football fan. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to, but really, am I that thing? When I'm looking at my expression, when I'm digging deep, when I'm trying to produce my art, is that the core of my, is that coming from within me? Is that coming from my heart? Is speaking of, could I have been a Birmingham fan? Could I have been an Arsenal fan if I lived in London? Yeah. If I spent too much time in Spain and not enough time in Birmingham, could I have started becoming a Barcelona fan? Yeah. It doesn't. My identity's fluid, isn't it? Is it? Can it be? My ethnicity can't be fluid. That can't just change because I want it to. My gender can. My social class is fluid, but not based on my ability to change it necessarily. What the chuff? What this is identity is complex, and it's both these things. It's fluid, changeable, socially constructed, internalized, internally projected. It's complex, and like I was saying, I didn't want to scare you too much, but this will pick it apart a bit. You don't need to be connected to, wonderful as it is. I'm going to pick ethnicity because it's the most difficult of these to talk about. I think it's wonderful that we have traditions based on ethnicity. It's wonderful to uphold them, to be respectful of them, to keep them up, but also it's absolutely fine to throw them away and completely not care just because of where you're born or where your parents were from or your genetic marker from this particular line of heritage doesn't mean that you can't or can or should or shouldn't. Ethnicity is irrelevant, but celebrated and important. Mind blown, isn't it? How much you base your identity on these different factors. In sociology, we talk about gender, social class, age, region, it says there, but religion and ethnicity more because we've got lots of studies on them. Someone studied religion a lot. Someone studied social class a lot. They're easy to put into a curriculum, but there's a wide myriad of factors that you could claim as part of your identity or disregard. There are a significant selection of the main sources of identity in modern society. So society tells you these should be part of your identity as well. So that's important to bear in mind. These are the studies. I want to just move on to this bit about labelling. The difference between labels and categorised. So people who share certain similarities, such as being female, are placed in a social category. So you've got characteristics that define you. So now, all of a sudden, the rest of society is saying, okay, so you can be a woman if you have X, Y, Z. It might have used to been long hair. But, ContraPoints will tell you that there's a whole conversation to be had about whether, and I wanted to do a video about this. I don't think it's my place, but I want to get to, this is a question I've got for a podcast. I'd love to get ContraPoints involved. Do ovaries define a woman? And then you get these philosophical questions like, well, somebody can have a hysterectomy. Are they no longer female? Like, what the definitions and categories define who you are ascribed onto you, and then you try and form your expression. You might be expressing the things that maybe, how do I explain this? Damn, I Feel Like a Woman, that song. Maybe you play up to the characteristics that you're supposed to because society has told you that to be a real man, you have to be tough, or to be a real woman, you have to be sexual or subservient, or to be whatever it is, you have to fit this box, and these are the parameters that define it. So, work on adhering to those parameters, please. Maybe not even please, maybe you feel in yourself, I want to get in that box, so I need to make these things more obvious, because damn it, I'm in that box. It's confusing, and it's mixed in with your feelings, your thoughts on yourself as ascribed to you by society. So we talk about expectations, about how expectations change the way you behave and grow and things like that. Experiences are different. You will see if you look into sociology that this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? There's so much to be said about identity and roles, the patriarchy, the whole thing. It's the creation of roles through identity and stuff like that. So much to be said for that. What I wanted to really say was, and I'm having a bit of a rant on there, was complicated, isn't it? It's confusing. And I think that's the key. Expression. The key about expression is that it is complicated and confusing. And through processing, through doing your painting, through writing your song, through performing it, through having the cry afterwards, through all of that, you learn, you change, you evolve, you express, you feel better, you move forward. But there are no solid answers, maybe. There are no, you're not supposed to come to some mystic conclusion. You're not supposed to have, after painted the picture, solved the feeling. It's okay just to feel them, and it's important to, as we looked at earlier. So that's where I'm going to like that. Oh, damn it, we're onto the we're into the individual figures for the percentages on the battery there. Individual figures now, 8% battery. Yeah, it is the end of Mental Health Monday. I've gone off on a little tangent. If I ever remember what that point about identity was, I will get back to you. I will get these pieces of music to you, my Ganji Book Warrior crew, certainly to the patrons actually. I'll upload them to Patreon. I'll do that. That's a good idea, isn't it? Finally, something that you can be rewarded with that's unique, that I came organically and I didn't have to struggle with. Don't know whether you like it or not, but I really just want it to be out there. I really want it to be out there. This expression. So I'm going to go walking the doggy. God, it's been a hard day, really, as well. I'll tell you that. It's been a hard day. I looked at that video of the last day, my previous dog's last day. I watched that video and it made me upset. And then I feel better from being here with you. I hope you feel good too. You be good, my little podcast. If you can't be good, then express it.